Welcome to this predicted paper from onmaths. This paper represents the best guess for the upcoming exams. Please use this paper in addition to your other revision. You can complete a unique version of this paper by going to our onmaths site. onmaths is full of free content to help you prepare for your exams, such as topic-based papers, demon questions and mini mocks. If you like what we do, please consider subscribing. The formula for the area of a rectangle is the width times the length. The width is 3 and the length is 5, therefore the area will be 15. The units of the width and the length are both centimetres, therefore the units will be centimetres squared. So for this question we need to convert the percentage to a decimal. So to do that we get that 8.9% and we just divide by 100. And so that will give us 0.089. And so we get that 0.089. Of normally means times in maths, so we just go times that by 457, and that will give us 40.67. Here we have a triangle, and we've got an angle of 48 degrees. We've got this right angle, which is 90 degrees, and we're looking for x. So what we need to do is we need to realise that the three angles will add up to 180 because it's a triangle. So what we're going to do to find x is just subtract the two angles which we know. So we're going to subtract the 90 degrees plus the 48 degrees from 180. And in brackets we're just going to say the reason, and it's angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So when we do that, we do 180, take away 90 plus 48, and you get 42 degrees. So I'm going to write this question again, just a bit bigger, so we've got a bit more space to work with. And one of the rules in solving is to get rid of any brackets or fractions. We don't have any brackets, but we definitely have a fraction. We've got this over 7. Now over basically means divide. So to get rid of it, what we're going to do is times both sides by 7. So on the left hand side we've got this 2x. On the right hand side we've got 12 times 7, which is 84. Next thing we need to get rid of is this 2. Well, that's a times 2, so the opposite of times 2 is divide by 2. So we've got x equals 84 divided by 2, which is 42. Whenever you have angles on parallel lines, you always draw out the letter in which they create. So we could have a situation here where the two angles create a Z like this, and those will be alternate. They could create a Z like this. That would also be alternate. They could create a C, which looks like that, and that would be interior, co-interior, or allied, depending on your preference. There could be a backward C, again that would be interior, co-interior, allied. Or they could look like an F. Now there are several Fs, about 4 Fs that they could look like. There's the F like this, there's the same thing but backwards, and there's the upside down versions. So you have the ones that go out this way, and the actual one we've got here, if I don't move that, the actual one we've got here which goes inward like that. Seem to be moving things. Let's try that again. So with all the F angles, we know that they're corresponding. Now, how do we figure that out? How do we remember that? There's loads of different ways. The way I remember it is I remember corresponding for corresponding. I remember alternate for alternate, and then either co-interior, interior, allied, I just remember as the other one. So interior, I just remember as the kind of C one, the other one. And so with this question, we've got x is equal to 73 because of F angles, and I just remember cor F bonding. So the word I write down isn't obviously cor F bonding, but cor S bonding. And it sounds silly, but I've remembered that for all my years teaching. I used to get corresponding and alternate mixed up. That was the way I remembered it, and I've never had an issue with corresponding alternate angles again. So whatever method you have, just to help you remember which one to pick, obviously have a method in advance of the exam, and then when this question comes up, you'll be more than happy to pick the right one. We've got first of all work out how many parts there are altogether in our ratio. So we've got 51 saying yes, 7 saying no, and 13 undecided. So altogether, we've got 51 plus 7 plus 13, which is 71 parts. Now each part is equal. So to find out the value of one part, we're going to do how many students there are, which is 2,911, and divide it by the 71 to find out what one part is worth, how many students are in one part. One part's worth 41 students. So each one of those parts in the ratio is 41 students. Now yes, because it goes yes, no, undecided, yes will be the 51 there. So it's 51 lots of 41 students. 51 parts with each part representing 41 students. And when you multiply those together, you get 2,091. So our answer is that 2,091 students responded with yes. So we can see that the first 4 of these have already been plotted. Now it's really important that you you do the coordinate the right way around. So the first one is number and then algebra. So we're looking at this coordinate here. We're 18 on number, which would be here, and then 14 on algebra, which would be this point here. 12 on both, so 12 and 12 would be here, and then 21 and 17. So 21 and 17 would be roughly there. The difficulty with finding the perimeter of this shape is we do have some of the lengths missing. So we're going to find the lengths that are missing first, and then we'll find the perimeter. So the one on the right here is going to be the same as the one on the left. So this is going to be 5.6. Same with the one on the left of the 2.4. So this will be 2.4 here. This length here is going to be slightly more tricky to work out. What we do is we work out the total length across, or the total width across, which is 9.8, and we take away the bits that we know. So we take away these purple lengths at the bottom. So to work out the length of the missing bit, we're going to do 9.8, and we're going to take away the 4.3 plus the 1.2. And then when we do that, we do 9.8, take away those bits, we get 4.3. So this missing bit here is 4.3. So to work out the perimeter, we're going to start at the top left of the shape and add up all the lengths as we go around the shape. So 9.8 plus 5.6 plus 1.2 plus 2.4 plus 4.3 plus 2.4 plus 4.3 plus 5.6. When you add all those up together, you get 35.6. It's a perimeter, which is a distance, so our units are centimetres. So a stem leaf diagram is just a way of showing raw data. This 1 here could either mean 10 or it could mean 1. In this case, we're using it to represent a 1, because if you look at the data, they're all either 1 point something, 2 point something, 3 point something, or 4 point something. So looking at the 1 point somethings, we've got a 1.1 there, and we've got a 1.4. Looking at the 2 points, we've got a 2.1, 2.3, 2.4, and 2.8. Looking at the 3s, we've got 3.8, and looking at 4s, we've got 4.2, 4.4, 4.7. And so in our key here, we're just going to pick this number here. It doesn't actually matter which number we pick. And we say 1 line 1 means 1.1 centimetres. To find the largest weight this package could have been before it was rounded, let's do a quick number line, and we're going to just do it between the 24 and what it would round to next. Well, it's to the nearest kilogram, so the next thing it would round to is 25. The cutoff point for rounding is here, and that's going to be halfway between 24 and 25, which is 24.5, and that is actually going to be our answer. Now, some of you who are astute might realize that 24.5 would round to 25, but theoretically the biggest it can be is going to be 24.49 recurring. Let's just draw that a bit better. 24.49 recurring, and that is actually the same as 24.5. In your exam, however, you can write 24.49 recurring and you would get full marks, but for brevity I would definitely recommend writing 24.5. So we're going to first of all work out the curved surface area, which is just this bit here, not including the top and bottom, and the formula for that is 2 pi r h, and the h is this bit here, so it's 2 times pi times the radius at the top, which is 12, times the height, which is 19, and that gives us 1432.566 blah blah blah. Next we go work out the area of the circle at the top, so circle area, and the formula for that is just pi r squared. So pi times 12 squared, which will give us 452.389 blah blah blah. Now there are actually two circles, so when we work out the total surface area, so total surface area, we add the curved surface area to two lots of the circle surface area, or areas of the circle, because there's one circle at the top and one at the bottom, and that gives us 2337.344 blah blah blah, and two decimal places, that is 2337.34. So we're going to start by understanding that all lines form or can form an equation y equals mx plus c, with m being the gradient and c being the y-intercept. It says here the gradient is -2, so we've already got a bit of a head start with this, but we don't know what the y-intercept is, so we're going to use this first set of coordinates to work out what the y-intercept is. So y is -31 and x is 15, and we're going to use this to solve and find out what c is. So first thing I'm going to do is, well, just tidy this up. 2 times 15 is 30, so -30 plus c, and I'm just going to add 30 to both sides to get c on its own. So that would be -1 equals c. So c is -1. So we now know that the equation is y equals -2x minus 1. And we're told that the y is -37. And we're looking for the x value, which they've called w. So let's get our solving lines in. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is add 1 to both sides. And so it would be -36 equals -2x. I'm going to now times, or divide everything by -2. And a negative divided by a negative is positive. 36 divided by 2 is 18. And then obviously that gets rid of the coefficient of the x, so it's just x. So x equals 18. So the x value is 18 and the x value is the w value. So w is 18. So we're looking to write a formula for the cost in pounds of hiring a microwave for X amount of days. So the cost is C, so it's going to be C equals, and it says it's going to be 55 pence a day. Now it wants the answer in pounds, so we need to convert this 55 pence into pounds. So that's going to be 0.55, and it's going to be 0.55 times the amount of days. Well, it says the amount of days is x, so it's going to be 0.55x. Then it says that there's just a one-off cost of £15, so you're going to have to pay £15 regardless. So we're just going to add 15 onto that. So the answer would be C equals 0.55x plus 15. I'm just going to write the question out, so we've got a little bit bigger writing to play with here. And it doesn't actually matter which method you expand these brackets with. I'm going to use Smiles and Rainbows. So we multiply the 8 by the 10x, which will make 80x, and multiply the 8 by the 4, which will make 32. Now here we've got a minus 5 on the outside, so we do minus 5 times 8x, which is minus 40x, and minus 5 times minus 4, which is actually plus 20. And a lot of students will write take away 20 there, but that is a minus 5 on the outside of the brackets there. So it's minus 5 times the minus 4 there will give you a plus 20. Then 80x take away 40x, which will give us 40x. And 32 plus 20, which would be 52. So our answer would be 40x plus 52. So we're going to first of all convert the 11 litres into millilitres. So we're going to do 11 times 1,000, which would be 11,000. Okay, so we're going to just draw a line, like a number line. And we're going to have the 11,000 in the middle. Now, what would be the next one down if we're looking at to the nearest 10 mil? So we're going to add a 10 mil on, which will be 11,010, and we're going to take the 10 mil away. So 11,000 take away 10 mil will be 10, 990. Now when we're looking at limits with the upper and lower part of it, we are looking at halfway points. So halfway here and halfway here. So this halfway point will be 10,995, and the next one will be 11,005, and that's the halfway points. And so that is going to be our upper and lower bound. And we just need to say that V can be anything above the 10,995 and including that, and it can be anything below 11,005, but it can't include that, because if it was 11,005, it would have rounded up to 11,010. First thing we need to do is work out the volume of this prism, and it's a trapezium based prism. So the volume will be the area of the cross section, or area of the trapezium, times the length, how 3D the prism is. So trapezium is half A plus B H, and then times the length. Now A and B are the two parallel sides, which will be this one and this one. And then the H is the perpendicular line that hits both of them at 90 degrees, which is what perpendicular means, between the bases. So this will be the 25 meters here. So it's going to be half, and then we're going to add 1 and 5, times that by 25. The length is how 3D it is, so it would be that 10 there. So we're going to times that by 10, and that will give us 750. So it's 750 meters cubed. Now, there is a little formula we can make for the rate. So the rate of anything for this will be the volume gained over time. Now, with this question though, we're interested in the time it will take. It says how long will it take. So we're actually looking at the time. So it will be time equals the volume, which is 750, over the rate, which is 15. So 750 divided by 15 is 50. So it will take 50, and let's have a look. It says per minute, so it would be 50 minutes. So we're going to first of all draw a tree diagram for this information. You don't have to, but it is easier to understand what's going on. And so the first choice will be the first pick. It'll either be male or female. And the second choice will be the same, male and female. And looking at the questions, there are 3 male names in the hat and 5 names in total. So the fractions for the first one will be 3 over 5. If there's 3 male names, there'll be 2 females. Now, if we've picked a male name already, there'll be 2 left and 4 left in total. If we haven't picked a female, there's still 2 females, but there's 4 left in total. If we picked a female, there'd still be 3 males and only 4 left in total, but there'd only be 1 female left. 1 female name left and 4 left in total. Okay, we're looking for the probability that the genders of the names are different. So looking at the outcome here would be male-male. That's not what we're interested in. Here would be male-female, we are interested in. Female-male, we are interested in. And female-female, we're not interested in. So we're not interested in these ones. And the way that tree diagrams work is as you go along the tree, any fractions you go across, you multiply together to find the outcome. So this will be 3 over 5 times 2 over 4. And I realise I could cancel 2 over 4, but I generally cancel at the end. So 3 times 2 is 6, 5 times 4 is 20. We're going to do the same with the other root. So 2 over 5 times 3 over 4. So 2 over 5 times 3 over 4, 3/4. That would be 6 over 20. Now we're looking to see whether it was male and female or female and male. And the word or in probability means add. So it'd be 6 over 20 plus 6 over 20. And this is the probability of different. Which will be 12 over 20. Now 12 over 20 will cancel to 3 over 5, or 3/5. So what's happened here is that the company's increased the amount of sweets by 15%. So we're just going to focus on that and work out what the multiplier would be first. So they started off with 100% and they added 15%, and then therefore they ended up with 115%. And to find that as a multiplier, we get the 115 and divide it by 100, and that gives us 1.15. So that is the multiplier they used. Now, they used that multiplier on the original amount, and they times it by 1.15, and they got the answer of 69. But if we're working the other way to find out what they times by 1.15, we get that 69 and we divide it by the multiplier. So if we want to work out what the original number was, we divide it by the multiplier, and that gives us 60. So the answer will be 60. It doesn't look like it, but we actually have a quadratic here, and the reason it doesn't look like it is because we don't have an x term, but as long as we have an x squared term and a number term, we definitely have a quadratic. And notice something about this second number. It's a negative version of a square number, and that will always be the case because this question is using something called difference of two squareds. And it's very, very simple to work out. What you do is you put down 2 sets of brackets and you square root the first term. Well, that's just going to be x. And you put the positive and negative versions of the square root. So we're going to square root 121, which is 11. So we're going to put plus 11 and minus 11, and that's it. Now, when we expand that, and we're just going to quickly expand that now to have a look, it's going to be x squared plus 11x minus 11x minus 121. And notice that the two x terms cancel each other out, which is why we don't have the x terms. You can complete a unique version of this paper by going to our onmaths site. onmaths is full of free content to help you prepare for your exams, such as topic-based papers, demon questions and mini mocks. If you like what we do, please consider subscribing.